technical theater classes, either way,
you don't think you're interested in architecture. They call it the golden city of 100 spires because there's just so much.
Need for shelters given rise to architecture. Need for shelters given rise to architecture.
Or whatever that's inspired you and might filter into your thoughts on process.
A metaphor for how all of us process information and ideas.
Or whatever that's inspired you and might filter into your thoughts on process.
Concept of like, you can't be the noun without doing the verb. And in some ways, the healthiest
to really understand the idea, the concept of being happy.
Then who will? If they don't accept you, then who will? And the fear that we...
Knocking on doors, asking for them to accept me. And I went from school...
Here in San Francisco.
Sure.
Right, with all this sort of kinetic...
The operating system for a cell. And that means that cells become programmable. In the same way as you can...
Rush down, if you've ever seen the inside of a Brazilian jail cell. Rush down, if you've ever seen the inside of a Brazilian jail cell. It's not...
Account adjustments may be made to correct for the receipt of unauthorized assistance and any subsidy.
Current receipt, so more severely disabled.
This anymore, but this represents the CMC joint, and it's where the thumb comes in contact.
Got an agenda, an abusive agenda on your citizenry, you dumb.
A flow state. I might be lucky to have one by dumb luck, right? Yeah. Or
another really interesting thing I think was said earlier is, data debt sucks.
Soon he was homeless and $60,000 in medical debt.
Not as an inherent and fixed biological quality, but in relation to women's experiences, habits.
Assumptions represent fixed views.
Bill asked 2 members of that team to join a new team that was emerging to work on the next generation system.
Right? And they asked the police, are you crazy? Are you arrested?
When could be solved through more technological innovation. But as the years went by...
It won't be solved by tweeting harder, building slicker apps.
So after many years, the world waited a long time.
Sure wouldn't want to be running a train loaded with fruit on those tracks.
Summarize the culture in one theologically loaded word. Yuck.
He rejected the concept of innate ideas, the view that we're born preloaded with certain...
A loaded 9mm.
Altered states of consciousness started to experiment with altering their perception using psychedelics.
It's pretty variable over there, but still. And so I think farmers are going to remember that. They're happy. They are.
We got mature systems like Southwest Water, the Western Area Water System.
Gray seal. I had the head sculpted by a model maker, and we put cameras inside with fiber.
Our bold new vision statement talks about becoming the national model.
More than half of the food we distribute is fresh fruits and vegetables. We distribute milk.
Time, and she had to distribute them herself. Then you're going to have to distribute.
Give orders and distribute the work.
Of LinkedIn, whether that's calendar integration and providing you the
or a little PD that you can go into your calendar to see what's happening.
And also serve as a calculator and maybe a calendar.
That are from unusual places. Former U.S. Treasury secretaries, have put out a report called
statements in your report. This is one of them. Our current taxes.
To meet our goal of doubling export. But I also want us to export manufacturing. And we're on track.
We could have borrowed some of it from the Export-Import Bank.
State, we're an export state. Better for American workers and American businesses that are trying to export there.
We could have borrowed some of it from the Export-Import Bank.
If you could import one thing that you saw.
Using what you already have, not what you buy or import.
Yes, that it's a big import for us.
Stoics were people willing to sacrifice present pleasure.
Forces us to be more present. It forces an experience of melancholy for the past get drowned out by the ever-present rapture.
Well, this weird present moment has the very
localization for storage, and then a command line tool to tie it all together.
localization for storage, and then
the command to Jesus was, lay your life down and take it up. The command to Jesus was, lay your life down and take it up.
The complaint up the chain of command and share his preliminary finding. The complaint up the chain of command and share his preliminary finding.
I wasn't sure if you had a comment. I wasn't sure if you had a comment on them. One, there's this old saw that command is everything.
Ma'am, what was your question? Ma'am, what was your question or comment?
Thank you very much for this talk.
I want to make a comment, and I think I want to make a comment, and I think it's a comment which is partly a question. Listening to what you said here has restored my faith. I want to make a comment, and I think.
Can you comment at all? Can you comment at all on, like, what's the breaking point? What's the turning point? Is it different for everybody? How? Can you comment at all on